This video introduces ENVEST, a new life cycle environmental impact and costing tool for the design of new buildings. ENVEST is best used at inception when the key decisions are made, crucially affecting both initial and life cycle cost and environmental impact. ENVEST requires just 4 key pieces of information: the building location, postcode, the building size, gross floor area, the mix of uses, and the budget. ENVEST supplements this information with default typical design choices and specifications for every detail. The designer can choose from 16 different environmental impact categories, including global warming and the composite weighted Australian Eco Point. We'll stick with global warming for the rest of this demonstration. Postcode 800 takes this building to tropical Darwin, cooling dominated. Postcode 3000 takes this building to temperate Melbourne, heating dominated. Back to Sydney for the rest of the demonstration. Clicking on any graph or sweet spot diagram toggles to a report. Clicking on the report returns. Having set up the key parameters and chosen an impact category, click the button at bottom left to lock in this bland design as the reference. From now on, every decision will be compared to this reference design. Click on the wireframe to go to shapes. Then you can very quickly experiment with a wide range of simple building shapes and roof configurations. You can modify the simple shapes. Use the slider to change the view to plan. You can change dimensions, shapes, orientations and offsets separately for each use. To find the best orientation, you can spin the building on its axis, and ENVEST draws a radar plot. You can examine heating, cooling, ventilation, lighting, hot water, all energy uses combined, and energy costs. Next, I want to sprint through the content of ENVEST, pausing occasionally to illustrate some key features. We can change glazing areas for any facade, for any use, or for the whole building. Similarly, we can add overhangs or louver shading. We can also change window widths. The sweet spot diagram plots environmental impact against cost relative to the default design. Any arrow pointing toward the origin represents a sweet spot decision that is both cheaper and lower environmental impact than the reference. Any decision that is away from the origin is both more expensive and higher cost. An arrow pointing bottom right implies an additional cost to reduce environmental impact. An arrow pointing top left implies a cost saving that compromises environmental impact. The length of the arrow measures the extent of the improvement or the disbenefit. For developers that are only interested in a building's initial cost and environmental impact, we can select Develop for Sale to see how the sweet spot changes as a result of this perspective. Clicking on the dashboard of environmental impacts or costs navigates to the relevant impact or cost summary table. You can scroll through the tables to see how the impacts accumulate for each of the components of operating energy, water, and materials. You can toggle between the impact and cost tables and change the perspective between life cycle and first cost. Color coding of the cells highlights the hot spots, and clicking anywhere in the table navigates to the relevant ENVEST content. Click on the heating hotspot and we can change set points and controls. Next, we might change heating and cooling plant, always returning to the summary. Now ventilation strategy, natural and mechanical. Flow and return plant, ductwork sizing and materials. Next hotspot is lighting, changing lamps. Windows affect lighting too. ENVEST provides 5 customizable window specifications that can easily be allocated to a facade, to a use, or the whole building. To customize a specification, just click on it and all of the detail is revealed and can be modified. Click on the results table to lock in the changes and return. The same specification can also be used in roof lights. Up to 3 sets of up to 4 roof lights can be selected. Floors can be punched through to create light wells and atria. Now, hot water plant, including solar options. With all the changes, perhaps we should look back at our orientation. ENVEST defaults to providing escalators to retail centres. These can be removed or added. Floor finishes are also significant with high impacts, short lives and significant cleaning. They can be specified and assigned to the different uses. ENVEST addresses water use, including for irrigation, and provides for rainwater and grey water reuse. ENVEST considers pipework and pumping energy for high-rise buildings. A key feature of ENVEST is the calculation of structural loads, dead loads from the mass of all materials used and sizing of energy systems, live loads from the known uses, wind loads from the climate data for the postcode. These loads are used to size the beams, columns and foundations in ENVEST. Linking materials, structures and energy systems in this way makes ENVEST highly dynamic. Alternative structural systems and sizing can be used to override the ENVEST defaults. ENVEST provides a rich palette of alternative specifications for ground floors, slab on ground or suspended. 4 customizable upper floor types can be allocated to uses. The effect these have on heating and cooling loads due to their thermal mass is shown graphically together with their materials impacts, revealing where thermal mass is beneficial or detrimental to performance. A wide range of alternatives are provided. 5 customizable external wall types can be used. The thermal transmittance and thermal mass effects on heating and cooling load are shown together with the material impacts. Inner skin, insulation, outer skin and cladding can be specified separately and combined in a huge variety of wall configurations. 5 customizable internal wall types can be used. Thermal mass trade-offs are shown here too. ENVEST assumes that lifts are required for buildings over 2 stories and estimates their likely number and traffic from the building occupancies. Operating energy and materials impacts can then be estimated. Flat roof options, pitched roof options. These include truss patterns coupled to bearing points as well as material and product choices. Ceiling finishes include direct soffit treatments as well as suspended ceilings. The suspension height is influenced by the ventilation duct sizing. Wall finishes include panel systems and direct decoration. For all internal finishes, the effect of colour and shade on lighting, heating and cooling is compared to materials impact. ENVEST estimates of annual energy consumption for heating, cooling, ventilation, lighting, hot water, lifts and escalators can be replaced with more sophisticated energy modelling results as they become available. 2 further versions of ENVEST are planned, one for existing buildings and a second for houses. A web-based version of ENVEST is partially developed and there has been some interest shown from other countries. Clarity Environment invite participants to join an ENVEST development consortium. Consortium members will have exclusive rights to the use of ENVEST initially and sponsor and guide its future development. Please address all inquiries to Nigel Howard at clarityenv.com.au. Thank you for your attention.